Well, welcome to Live at the NABC. This is our third show that we've got going on, and first of all, I want to say hi to everybody out there and thank you for watching. We've got a rather interesting day going on today. It's about 43. It's drizzly. Every now and then we get rain, so our special guests and myself are going to be out here together today in the beautiful weather. So if you're having a hard time hearing, again, it's windy. You can probably see that with the trees blowing behind me. One of the most interesting things we've got going on right now is we've got construction started of our front entrance, and they're actually working on it in this weather, and they ain't even being bothered by it, which is kind of cool. But I really want to thank everybody for watching out in the PTZ world, and again, thank the moderators and the chatters and everybody that are watching. Hopefully you got some new people out there that are watching too. And we're going to be talking about a few different things. One of the things that I want to talk about is our new PTZ camera that we got up. Yeah, you guys cannot see it, but right below the camera that you're watching me on right now is a great big camera that you've probably seen in a picture on one of the updates. It is huge. It looks kind of like E.T. or from that era. In fact, I seen something that they were talking about Back to the Future today. It's got its, what is it, its 30th year? 30 years later, 2015 today, they released that and they showed things that we're using now that they just pretended like it would be someday in 2015. And that camera that we've got is one of those. Tomorrow, we're gonna finally get that camera going. I don't want to say it like this, but let's keep our fingers crossed that that sucker's going to work beautiful, because I'll tell you what, it's going to give you guys all a new experience out there. It's got a beautiful picture, great zoom. It's a lot of fun to see it in operation because it's just so big. It does it. It looks like something from outer space. It's really cool. So we're going to be doing that. We also were excited yesterday to get the Holly and Lucky Cam going. I hope everybody's enjoying that. I understand about 5:20 or so yesterday, Holly made a little venture out to rake in some straw, so she kind of ruined that 7-day thing on the last day. But we get to start counting again. But I believe Lucky was able to manage to stay in his, so I think that contest ended yesterday. Maybe I'm not even supposed to announce it, but I just let you know that. Right now, I want to talk about our next two guests that we've got, and I want to tell you a little bit about some of the neat things that we've had happen with them before they come up here. They were bear educators. They started here. They went through all the training with a number of bear educators that did and interns. At the store level, the Bear Center level, they were very, very instrumental in keeping the place moving forward, keeping the guests happy. We just had a great group of bear educators and interns and staff, and naturally all you guys out there too. But I'm going to invite right now Larry and Chris to come on up here. And we're going to introduce you to two of our bear educators. And you may remember Larry as, at times this year, in fact a fair amount of times, as a voice of the PTZ camera, and he's used to holding this microphone. He shaved his beard partially through the year for the fire department, and while he did that, I grew mine. So I'm trying to figure out how he can go so backward. Let's welcome Larry and Chris. And I want to thank you guys for coming.
Well, thank you for having us here today.
And Chris, thank you for being out here.
Happy to be here in the rain.
I just learned a little bit earlier that they are under the Witness Protection Program, and that's why they're up here. So I'm going to take a seat. I'm kidding. I hope you guys know that out there. I am kidding. The big camera out there, it's not facing toward us because it's not working. So the small one above it is the one that's working. We're going to take a seat here. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to ask them, where are you guys from?
We're from just south of Detroit, Brownstown Township. And we've lived and we met in high school and got married shortly after high school, and so we've lived all of our lives there.
So you've lived all your lives in Brownstown, Detroit. Brownstown, Detroit. Michigan, Detroit area. Are you Detroit Lion fans?
A little bit, mostly Tigers.
That'd be baseball.
I know.
But what the heck got you guys up here, or over here, I should say?
Well, we both like the North Country. Have always liked the North Country, and we've been to Alaska. Um, Decided not to move quite that far. We just love the area. We love Ely.
Okay.
I started watching the Den Cam and really got interested in what was going on with the bears. So let's check out Ely, Minnesota. And we've been coming back every year since that Den Cam first time I watched it.
And Larry, did you you obviously followed Chris up here, right?
Yes, actually, it started earlier than that. In 2006, we rode our motorcycles to Alaska, and Chris had a strange fascination with the bears. And every time we spotted one, we stopped, and she got off and got pictures. And I kept thinking to myself, there's just something not right here. Maybe we've been on the road too long, something anyway. But she's always had a love for them and no fear. And so when she found out about the bear courses here, the field study courses, right away I went, yeah, let's get her enrolled. Maybe that'll straighten her out. But instead, it really kind of turned things around. And of course, I joined in as well. The curiosity is kind of contagious. And so that's why we're here. We love the bears, and we love teaching people about them.
That's really cool to hear. I could really stir the pot on this one, as you guys all know out there, how I can have a lot of fun with it. I'm still trying to figure out. You corrected Chris on TV. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, Chris, that's awful. What do you have to say about that?
What's that?
What'd you say? We got to have fun with it. She don't know nothing about it, but you know, Chris, when you hear Larry talk about it, it sounds like the passion grabbed him too.
Yes.
Maybe you could tell a little bit about that story, what your craziness was when you were up in Alaska.
Well, my craziness was, I did, just like he said, I got off my motorcycle and stopped. I had grizzly cubs right in front of the bike. I stopped to get off and talk to them and take pictures. Had another fella drive by on the motorcycle, on his motorcycle. He yelled, "Where's the mother? You need to get moving." I didn't really care. We never did see the mother, but every time we saw grizzly bears, black bears, I'm off my bike. I'm turned around going back. I followed a moose through the ditch, and Larry was probably 2 miles ahead of me before he realized she's not behind me anymore on her bike. So he had to keep turning around with his trailer to find me. So I've always been fascinated, and I love the wildlife. Who can't love the wildlife? And this is the place to be.
You know, it's fun to hear their stories. They actually got some very good stories I've heard in the time you've been here. I want to talk about the Bear Center and your involvement here, and I know that we had a great group of people this year, and we've got a great group out there that watch us, and we try and keep everybody as interested as possible, I should say. But Larry, when I take a look at you starting to broadcast on PTZ, talking about the Bears, do you have a memorable moment you could tell us about?
Oh, well, yeah. One of those was I was doing the enrichment time and standing up and starting to talk, and I hear the educators down here calling the bears to come in, and nobody came. And so there you stood, imagining in your mind, do you go on? Well, I can just picture Honey there turning the cube or whatever it was she might have been given, or do you just simply say, no bears, see you tomorrow? So that was kind of an interesting time. But some of the favorite times, plural, was when you took people back and behind the scenes, and the kids saw the bears for the first time, and you could just see the expression on their faces as they were really shocked to see, first of all, that the bears were so big, and second of all, that they were so gentle. And then you were able to just tell them all of the things that you hear and see are not always correct. And here's the truth about black bears. And to just share that was just fantastic. And of course, we love the bears, and so if people see that in your expression, and they see it in the way you do things. When we went behind the scenes, Chris was constantly able to feed, and you could see that on her face that she just loved that interaction with the bears, and so those are the favorite memories.
Yeah, those are really cool memories. I also remember one of those groups that you had taken back behind the scenes, and one of the little kids came up, and his mom and dad said, "What do the bears do?" And he looked at him kind of funny, and he goes, "They don't do that anymore, Ma. They don't growl. I learned they don't growl." And the parents were like, "Oh, well, I guess that blew up in our face," because he must have growled before. And now he said, "No, they don't do that. Bears don't growl." So that was a good learning experience. Now I'm going to ask Chris, what was your most memorable moment?
Well, I have several too. He's been the lead in the behind the scenes. However, I'm not quiet back there, that's for sure. Have lots of conversation with people, walking back and forth, and I add a few things if he's forgotten, or we kind of compliment each other.
Yeah.
There was one particular couple from Maine who was here to take one of the field course studies with Dr. Rogers. They had not been out there yet. They came here first, and then they came back again. They were so excited about my excitement for the bears, and they were just hung on every single word that was said about the bears, and all they could talk about was, how do you get this job? I want to come here. I want to do this. So I explained to them, as I've been able to explain to a lot of couples that have said, what a great job. You're volunteering here? How can I do this? So I was able to share with them that you can do this. You don't have to move up here and live here, but you can. But they were just so excited with my excitement for the bears, and I was excited because they were excited.
Yeah, and I know I just earlier today, just before we came on, actually, Chris and Larry, I found out, are very adventurous people, and they're actually living up in the Eagle's Nest area. For those of you who don't know where Eagle's Nest is, it's very close to Dr. Rogers' Wildlife Research Institute, and they actually got a place up there. It's a camper, right? A kind of a motorhome, and they're actually going to really venture out and stay here as long as they can through the winter, maybe even make it all the way through. They're going to try, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I sure hope they're right, even though I don't want it. I hope they're right on that El Nino. Well, just keep in mind, if it's a little warmer up here, if they're saying it's going to be warmer, that means it's only going to get to 30 below instead of 40 below. So that may work for you, right?
We may have to stay close.
Oh, well, that's true. They may have to stay close. Yeah, okay. Well, we won't go there. But anyway, they were also telling me this really interesting story, and it really hit me. And it was Chris had a really cool experience, and Larry's going to tell the short version of that, or is it Chris that told the short version of that? Well, it was Chris actually. But Larry, could you tell the short version?
Sure. Okay. Sure. We were up here vacationing, and of course we were doing some volunteering here as well. But we were riding on our four-wheelers, and we were out on a trail 20, 30 miles from the campground, and we had stopped to take a break, and Chris heard howling and what sounded like pups barking, and she thought it was a pack of wolves. Well, not just she. I got to take credit myself too. We both did. And so we said, wow, we better get out of here. And Chris decided not to. She wanted to stay. She wanted to see them. Yeah, oh yeah. And so she started howling and trying to get their attention. And, of course, the closer we moved along the trail, the louder they were. And so finally, I got very nervous. I did. I guess I'm the fraidy cat. But I got very nervous, and she didn't, which is typical of her. And so we ended up riding away. Finally, we got on the four-wheelers. I convinced her this was not the safest thing to do. And so we rode back to camp, and we got a vehicle. We got the Jeep and went back out there. Well, we got out. Same story. Chris got out, and she started howling, and she's trying to get the pack in. I want to see the pups. I want to see the pups. And as we got closer and, of course, heard them louder, as it turns out, what we were calling to was a pack of mush dogs, sled dogs. Several of them, and they were all howling and barking now. So, to our disappointment, I guess, and relief, it turned out that there wasn't a pack of wolves. Although we had seen wolves out there, but that wasn't them.
I thought that was a really cool story because it kind of tells the way it is up here, because you just don't know, and it's not every day that you're out there howling. Chris, you wouldn't want to give us an example of that howl, would you? Come on, Chris. I know they love it out there. If you just no, Larry, could you simulate it? Okay, I've heard it many times at my own kennel, and I just can't imagine if I was at my house and I'm hearing somebody howling, the dogs are howling back. I think it'd be pretty good, but really up here you don't know. I mean, there's many things, whether it be bear, moose, wolves, any of that stuff. You don't know what you're going to run into, and that's what makes it beautiful.
We love the nature, and we love the adventure of it. And, of course, having a lack of fear most of the time, I'm usually the voice of reason.
Well, yeah, no, and we won't get into that kind of stuff right now, but, it's a good thing Chris is the way she is, because otherwise she might not have said I do. So, that's right. And you know what? I mean, I won't go to that story, but anyway, how you met, or I think she came to work one time on a bike. Somebody told me. Anyway, moving along. So, we just want to cover a couple more things with you guys. I mean, your experience with the volunteer group, with the bear educators, all the people that you've seen here at the Bear Center. Very, very successful behind-the-scenes program this year. For those of you out there that were able to come to it, I'm sure you enjoyed it. It was just, in my eyes, a success all the way around. And we can glean off that success and grow for next year. And I'm hoping that Larry and Chris come back next year and are part of that group. But, boy, I can't tell you how much it was appreciated, and how much we appreciated all you out there that were bear educators, interns, and volunteers of all types and kinds. But at the store level, they really helped the guests that came in here learn. Would you say that you felt like they learned?
Oh, absolutely. I think we changed a lot of opinions for a lot of people. Absolutely.
And I think that you'd say that's why you really enjoyed doing it.
Yes, yes. And one other thing about this organization and this place is that it's very accurate, and we really strive here so that everything is accurate about the bears that goes out to the people. And if we don't have the right answer, then we find it, and so.
And that's exactly true. Is we don't want to elaborate on anything. We want to have a good experience for the guest and make sure that they're learning accurate information. And we were very, very excited to have that this year. Yeah, Larry, anything you want to touch or add on to?
Just that we did have a great group of volunteers and the interns as well. And I just can't give them all enough credit. Yes. We worked with a couple, and I won't mention their names, but I will say that the husband looked just like Clint Eastwood. And I called him Clint the rest of the summer. But they were a hard-working couple, and I hope they come back. And there's just so many of them. You could go on and on and on. And yeah, it was a great year, and a lot of opinions were changed. A lot of cooperation that we've noticed here too. The praise that comes from the administration, from the people here that are they're not negative. Does that make sense? And so there was constant encouragement all the time from those people, and you don't see that everywhere you go, and so that made the place really very pleasant to work at.
And that also reflects, Larry and Chris, on TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor, the customers that have went on, or our guests, I should say, have given us just raving reviews. And those reviews that we've gotten on TripAdvisor have been huge for the place to grow. So we want to thank everybody out there that went on TripAdvisor and gave us some input on that. We also want to thank Larry and Chris for what they've done, and all the volunteers, like Larry said, and I can't tell you enough. I mean, without the volunteer staff that we've got, whether it be here at the Bear Center or out there, you running the PTZ cameras, the moderators, the chatters, the Lily fans, the this fan, that fan, and the other fan, all the Bear people that help us out, all those kids out there that were here this year that are turning into fans, we thank you for watching if you are today. But, you know, one other thing I want to go over, and now that you guys are going to stay here, I'm sure you'll be a big part of it. In fact, they don't even know it, but we got them down to come to it, is Give Them the Max Day on November 12th. That is a 24-hour period that is very important to the North American Bear Center, Northwoods Ecology Hall. It really helps us grasp what we do as volunteers here and what you guys do for the North American Bear Center out there. But that is a big, big fundraising 24-hour period for us. So we really ask that you guys stick with us because, again, this year, Judy Stone, Sharon, and myself are going to be going 24 hours. We will get stupid, I'm sure, or hilarious, or whatever you want to call it, by Friday. I mean, yeah, it'd be Thursday night. Or is it Thursday morning? I'm trying to remember which. But Thursday night, I should say. But I got to tell you, we're going to have a lot of special. Yeah, my lips are getting tangled. We're going to have a lot of special guests throughout the hours during the daytime. We're going to really enjoy ourselves, I think. I mean, we're going to have fun. And you guys didn't know it, but you're going to be one of our guests that day. And we will be able to pick on you. I just want to thank one person out there, Kathy. You haven't beat me on my phone yet, and that's pretty cool. That means we're doing a pretty good job, you guys, because she hasn't asked no questions. But I do want to put out there that if any of the moderators have any questions that they want to ask Larry right now, I got my phone going. So if you'd like to beep one in for just one or two questions, we could do that. Again, I want to go over thanking everybody out there. And I'm going to wait just a second here as we enjoy our beautiful fall day. It actually could be a whole lot worse. I know it could. I'm going to turn my phone on and look. And if one of you out there can respond to me, if you ain't seeing any questions, that's okay. If not, we're going to say thanks and goodbye. And we'll see you next Wednesday. We're going to have a surprise guest next Wednesday. I'm not going to tell you, but it will be a surprise guest. So you're not going to see it, but you need to make sure you're here. It looks like we're okay. Are we okay out there? I'll give it one more second here. Well, I'll give it a few more. How long should we give it? I don't have that thing. How does that go? I still can't get there or do that. Wolf. Oh, here we go. Kathy's saying, let's see. She wants to know, will Give to the Max Day be inside? Yes, it will. We have to plan it to be inside because, quite frankly, we don't know how the weather's going to be. So the PTZ camera that's outside will be disabled, and we will have the camera inside like last year. We just can't take a chance on the weather keeping us back. Even right now, I think you both would agree that it's a little chilly out here, you know, with the dampness in the air. So we do have to keep that inside. I just want to make sure everybody out there knows, in fun, total fun, I'm not going to make snow angels on the ice. I'm not going to skate on the ice. I'm not wearing any pajamas from the store. We got to keep it family, fun, and friendly. And I need to make it through the whole day and night. So,
In the past, is it?
no, but I've been asked to balance on the log. I could keep going and going and going, you know. We got another question. It says here, will we get to see the progress of inside renovations? If we can make it so that the PTZ can be moved around, yes, we will. I cannot promise that right at this time because right now my goal is just to get your experience out here better than it's been, and it's taken me over a year to get this going as a group. It's taken us over a year, I should say. It's been a real struggle. So we're going to do our very best, even with today's technology. We just don't have the bandwidth here that we need to be able to do a lot of the stuff we'd like to do. In about a year, maybe a little less than a year and a couple months right now, we'll have the new system that's going to be coming through the outer skirts of Ely, which will be the, help me out, I'm drawing a blank, not broadband, but fiber optics. I had a little bit of a blank there for a minute. But the fiber optics, once it's disconnected, it'll work out real good. Another question we got is what's going on with the Bears right now. I can tell you that you've probably seen Ted and Honey got fed at about 12 minutes after 12 and got their stuff taken care of. I did not venture up to look at Holly and Lucky. They're still denning. I did look at them on the camera, and they were not out. If you guys have seen them out, let us know. But I can tell you, Ted was not moving very fast at all. He was moving really slow when I went up there. In fact, I had to do a figure eight around him because he wasn't sure where the bull was. Oh, we got another question. Will they, let's see. Will we be doing live shows throughout the winter with the NABC progress that we're going to be doing and the updates inside the store? That is a big fat yes. We will be doing every now and then, whether it be through the PTZ, again, if we can make it mobile, and if we can do it through Mo and his filming. We're going to do it one way or another to try and let you know what's going on. It's going to be a real fun season again. Last year was a ball with the Northwoods Ecology Hall. And I can tell you this year, we're going to have a ball with the North American Bear Center getting updated, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm going to close it right now and thank everybody out there. And mostly I'm going to thank Chris and Larry for taking the time to come today. I know that are you still seeing bears at your place?
Actually, last night was the first night we've not seen one.
So last night they actually do some bear feeding out at their place, and last night was the first night they did not see any. I did get one last question here. I'm going to say it. How long will the construction take? I'm going to answer that with a great political question. As long as it takes to complete. So we're going to have it all done and finished by the opening of the North American Bear Center in April. So we should be fine with that. It's going to be a lot of work. We've got a lot going on. And I think that for those of you that can visit the Bear Center once it opens, you're going to see some pretty exciting things. First thing you're going to notice is when you pull up to the North American Bear Center, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The entrance will be different.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are going to have we're working on a live program that we're going to have to show you the upcoming gifts that we're going to have in the gift shop for the holiday season, and that'll be coming up here shortly, probably somewhere in the November-ish area, end of November, first part of December, but we are going to have something like that. I'll give you just a little tidbit. It's going to be like a QVC deal. We'll have some fun with that. So again, thanks you guys. We really appreciate it. Anything last? All right. Thank you out there for being live at the NABC, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 1 o'clock sharp. Thank you.